Welcome to your new favorite band, the podcast brought to you by the LA Maybe. And now, your hosts, Dallas Dwight and Drizzle Silvera.
Well, hello there. I am Dallas Dwight. Welcome back to another episode of your new favorite band. Across the table from me is...
Yours truly, Drizzle. What's up?
What's up? It's time again for a very special episode of Mix Breakdown. That's right. So today it's our new song, Down to Fight. So we have the Pro Tools session pulled up right here for you, and we are going to take a deep dive into the song. We're going to tell stories about the song. We're going to listen to isolated tracks and pull out interesting moments we think you guys might enjoy, just like we did for all 10 tracks of Dirty Damn Tricks.
But
So
before we do, I got to let y'all in on a secret. We have been releasing some extra videos with this. There's a music video that has come out. Go check it out. It's really fun. I think you'll get a kick out of it. And also, we have a playthrough that you should go check out as well on YouTube. It's just Down to Fight playthrough. Yep. If you're interested in learning the song, not only do we have a playthrough that you can see what we're doing, cutting between Dallas and myself, but we also have an instructional video. And Dallas has been kind enough to defy everything in his bones and slow down the parts.
Yeah.
Because it's really hard for Dallas to play slow.
Impossible.
But he did it for you guys. So you
Right.
can actually learn his solos and shit. And, you know, I'm just kind of holding it down in the rhythm section.
Right. So we're going to move over here to, there we are, on the Pro Tools. But yeah, we also have the tabs for this song and every song on Dirty Damn Tricks, and every song we release going forward. The tabs are available at our web store. That's lamaybe.com/store. Or you can go to ultimate-guitar.com. If you're a guitar player, I'm sure you know all about Ultimate Guitar. And you can get it there. If you're a pro member of Ultimate Guitar, you can get it kind of for free. You can play it right there in the app. I love doing that. I use it all the time.
Yeah, same.
It's a really helpful teaching and learning tool. And if you are an old school person, like I definitely used to be before they had all the mobile app goodness, you can just go on your desktop and you can actually download the Guitar Pro file. Now, you will need the Guitar Pro software. There are no like old school like notepad type tabs. They are all Guitar Pro, which is nice. You can play it, slow it down, isolate it, look between the tracks, see what the guitars are doing, all that good stuff. But we have provided all that to you free of charge, or if you feel like throwing us a little Skrilla, you can head over to our store and buy it there. It's the same thing either way. If you do buy it from us, you get the PDF as well, which is the only way you can see it without owning the Guitar Pro software. So if you don't own that software, you'd have to probably go to our store to check that out, or just learn by ear. How about that? So this song is not too terribly difficult to learn by ear. Shall we, where do you want to start here, Driz? What do we got? First of all,
I want to start prefacing this. We have a new mastering engineer that we used.
Mixing and mastering engineer.
Yeah, mixing and mastering.
Also, this is a, let's preface this by, if you go back and look at, like, I don't know, the Peace of Mind session or something, there's only 5 tracks here.
Yeah.
So it's a very, very simple song. Now, of course, we will say that a lot of these tracks are obviously condensed. For example, drums are just drums, where when they're in the actual real session, you have kick, snare, tom, hi-hat, all the stuff, right? Bass, you might have a bass TI and a bass amp. These guitars here, knowing me and Driz, between these 2 guitar tracks, there's anywhere from 5 to 12 guitar tracks that are actually condensed in there. Mm-hmm. We did a quick listen through a second ago just to get familiar with how our engineer Marcus has condensed these for us. Yeah. And all of the vocals, with one exception, are on this one vocal track. So we won't be able to separate like the backgrounds for you, but that's fine.
Yeah.
This song doesn't have a lot of that anyway. And then the BGVs, we have one little thing we'll talk about here. BGV, of course, stands for background vocal.
Yes, for the layman. Also, quick side note. We did use Machine for our original record.
Right.
We loved his work.
Producer.
He mixed and mastered that. This was really just to try something else. We heard some stuff we really liked from another band that we really like. We've talked about on the podcast, the New Roses out of Wiesbaden, Germany.
So we're a big fan of the New Roses, and we reverse engineered who produced and worked with them, and it's a guy named Marcus Teska out of Germany. He's actually kind of near Wiesbaden, Frankfurt area. And so I hit him up and had a conversation with him, and he's just been the utmost professional, and he's really fast and really, really good. And he seems to really understand what we're going after. Because every time we've gotten a mix back, version 1, and this never happens, version 1 is like, I think it's pretty much perfect. Like,
Yeah, right.
There's not a lot of changes.
It's been really good. Yeah.
And I think this one was 2, maybe 3 versions, where we've had songs go 9, 10 versions before. So Mark is just right out of the gate. And even with a new song we're working on with him, which was a lot denser than this, he even texted me after he sent it to me. He said, you're right. This is a really dense track. I'm really interested to see what you think of my mix, because it is so dense. And every little part that I personally thought should have come to the forefront, the others could have been tucked back. He made all those choices the way that I would have liked to have seen them made, and the rest of us would have liked to have seen them made. So
Yeah.
that one came out really good too. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about Down to Fight. So shall we just play maybe...
Let's start off with the drums, man. The
drums,
heartbeat,
just
the
whap,
rhythm.
boom.
Yeah. Let's take an ice.
Hold that thought. Okay, sounds fixed. Here we go. Drums. Let's take a listen. If you want to bring in a little bass action with that, you get a nice heavy. Skip ahead a bit. And I love the simplicity of that.
Yeah, sometimes there's nothing like a slide up to an octave on a bass.
Oh yeah. It's just such a big, like, here we go, But the guitars. So here we have. So let's hear the heaviness and the simplicity of that first riff, but without the intro solo kind of sitting on top.
Yeah, definitely.
Right. Very, very simple. Of course, we have the intro solo, which is kind of the same thing 3 times with minor variations and then a different 4th one. Kind of a good formula for riffs for you riff writers out there. Nice little wetness there with the reverb and delay.
So forget. Did you track that with the reverb, or is that something Mark?
No, I tracked it dry. Yeah,
that's what I thought.
I track everything dry. Now all the solos have been tracked with the quad cortex.
Yeah.
And I did this one in a hotel room. All of these in a hotel room.
That's hilarious. Yeah. So for our quad cortex viewers out there, yeah, that is legit a capture of your Marshall.
But if you go here, like that's the real amp.
Yeah.
And yeah, we just captured. It's not like we're using stock stuff on the quad, which the stock stuff is actually really good. But we've profiled, or Driz has profiled. I say profile because I come from the Kemper world. He's captured the AFD 100 that I use on the studio into the quad, which is what I use live. And when I was doing solos, I had the AFD set up, and I pulled out my quad, and I was kind of going between them. I do a little bit of a snippet of something and a little bit of a snippet, go back and forth. And I just felt like I played better on the quad. And the sound difference was negligible. So I was like, well, when I'm doing solos, it's all about playing and feeling as inspired as I can be to play the best I can.
Definitely.
So, and I felt like the AFD kind of was lacking a little something for me there. So I definitely feel like I spend so much more time playing through the quad. So it just feels like there it is. There's home,
Yeah, and it sounds fucking killer. Like I guarantee no one until you said that was like, oh, there he goes using the quad cortex again. Yeah.
Sometimes I don't even know.
I didn't know until you told me.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I'm using the profile.
All the solos though. It's not the rhythms.
I know.
Rhythms, it doesn't matter. I like the big amp and I can play real hard and dig in and really destroy it. But the solos, it needs a little.
So on Dirty Damn Tricks, those were all real amps for the solos, right?
Yeah, except for the She's Reckless solos. Those were
Yeah.
Kemper because they were held over from the original sessions, which the original sessions were all Kemper.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So yeah,
Everything else was the AFD. Yeah.
all the solos you're tracking for all our upcoming projects and stuff like right now, that you've told me have been tracked with the Quad Cortex.
So far, yeah, I think so. And we only really have 2 that are done.
Yeah.
And the other one is the Long Road, which you guys know, it's the full version of it. And they were originally done with the AFD, but I've gone back so many times to hone that solo and fix it up to make it a little better and a little better and a little better that the final version is the quad. So I've probably revisited that solo 5 or 6 times because it's such a long solo section we have. And I wanted to make sure it was just right, you know? Like the Sweet Child of Mine solo. It's a long solo, but it's just right.
Right.
It's just how it should be. So we take the main riff here and we kind of change it a little bit and make it a little more funky for the verse. Now, what makes this riff in my mind are the ghost notes. You have to have the the right hand has to be doing some work, right?
Well, and also we've told this to viewers before in our mixed breakdowns, but if you're new to our mixed breakdowns, this is the first one you're watching. If you've got a stereo setup or you're listening with headphones, Dallas is always on the left side, and I'm always on the right side.
Left because I'm left-handed. So in this case, if I were to take this and split it into mono, which let's just do that because it's easy. Make a quick group out of them. Yeah, that's right. Okay, good. Okay, good. All right, so now we can isolate just me. Notice how he put some room tone in there, which is kind of nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just Driz. Now, in this case, you see we're playing the same. So there's really no change. But let's take a listen here to the main riff. Let's listen to me first and see. It's hard to do this with sunglasses so far away and be accurate. So that's the AFD 100, the amp. And that's the AFD 100 quad. Obviously not playing the same thing, but you get the idea.
Yeah.
And then Driz here, playing the main riff. Again, the same thing. This song is a lot, not live, but on the rhythm tracks, and this probably holds true for most of our songs and most songs in general. When you're doing the big rhythm guitars, you usually want them to match pretty closely.
Yeah.
And live, what we'll do is one of us will do that part, and another one of us will do another part, right? So it's more cool live. You got a lot of different sounds. On the studio, you want that fatness and fullness on both sides, and then all the extra stuff you overdub on top.
Yeah. Oh, also worth mentioning here on our full-length album, Dirty Damn Tricks, I was actually using for the entire album a Fender Blues Deluxe reissue with a Waza Bluescraft. On this, I'm actually using my Marshall Plexi Mark II Studio. So I have changed amps, and I'm on this one. Actually, I know exactly what guitar I was using. I'm using the PRS McCarty 594 Thin Line.
Is that the SG looking one?
That's the white one.
The white one.
Yeah.
And we recorded this a while ago, if you remember.
Yeah. That's why I was like, oh, I know. Yeah, I remember what I used on this.
Now, something a little sneaky here. When we get into the verse, we're doing the riff, of course. And about halfway through, you have this lead guitar comes in up an octave. It's subtle, but it's there. All right, now here's a great example of what we do live versus what we do in the studio. So in the studio here on this pre-chorus, you'll hear both of these big rhythm guitars doing the exact same riff. Right?
Yep.
And then we've overdubbed this kind of octave run lead. And then moving off into harmonies there at the end, which is cool. So if I take this, I'm just going to pan those leads hard right. I'm going to just take my guitar. This is what you would hear live, where I'm playing the power chords and Drizzle is doing kind of the octaves. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then it changes again for the chorus. But that is just, we were just talking about that, and that pops up right there. So that's nice. All right, let's get down here into this Vox because there's some fun stuff. Now, right off the bat, you're going to hear the lead vocal, which, of course, your ear keys into the lead vocal more than anything else probably when you listen to music, so you're familiar with how that sounds. But what you might not notice is underneath is this stupid low voice that I did. Ended up doing all the backing vocals for this one because it's just right, the vocal booth we do all the vocals in is right behind me in my office. So super easy, except for these BGVs we'll talk about in a second. So I go in to do this low octave. So the first verse is an octave down anyway, right? I'm feeling the pain. Where the octave up or whatever. So I have to go, hey, the low one, right? In that range. So I had to jack the gain up. I'm like pushing into the pop filter, and I'm like right in here, like not talking very loud, but I'm singing very low, right? And it ended up sounding kind of cool. It sounds kind of menacing.
Hey, I'm feeling the pain. I haven't been on a bender in days. Getting doped up, smoked up, venom coursing through my veins. Yeah!
And then, of course, out for the yeah. But that was kind of fun. And
and it sounds so killer in context. Like
you put it together.
Pain, I'm feeling the pain. I haven't been on a bender in days. Getting doped up, smoked up, venom coursing through my veins. Yeah! Tell me, gotta change, I don't wanna speak a little truth, and I'm gonna.
And then here's the only harmony in the entire song. It's at the end of both pre-choruses.
Tell me that you feel my mind getting buried alive. Hey, I'm down to find you.
And if you followed any of our Dirty Damn Tricks mix breakdowns, you know that when I sing an octave below, I like to be really bright, like hi, kind of Axl Rosy. I love the dichotomy of a low voice that's really bright and rich and high frequencies, as opposed to being like,
Well, then it doesn't cut through. It's just mud.
Yeah,
You need mud.
you can change the timbre of your voice to where if you sing the same note, like, ooh, hey, it's the same exact note, but it sounds totally different. So I would take it, hi, kind of the Axl Rose version, and it cuts through in a cool way. It's Avenged Sevenfold does it too.
Hey, I'm down to find you. Won't lay me out when there's trouble tonight. That's 1, 2, 3 more rounds. You won't lay me out when I'm down to fight.
And it was really fun to try to match because we had Goliath's vocals done, so it was fun to listen to him and match because he says,
when there's trouble tonight. That's
trouble tonight. It's like all one.
when there's trouble tonight. That's.
And I love that. It's like almost an L in there. Trouble tonight. That's like. But it was super fun to match that. Now we get a different. The main riff here in the guitars is the same as before. But we get a lead guitar that comes in, which I like. I love little drony parts where it kind of hangs on one note while the chord changes around that one
it just
note,
adds
right?
a lot to it, yeah.
Yeah. So this is what we have here. So it never goes up to that. It just goes back to the same note, which is kind of fun. And it adds a nice little... Right. And then, of course, we have this. And if you've been listening to this podcast for a while, you know exactly what this is.
Oh, God, I love Amos's.
And that is our fans at one of our shows in town. Right before we went to the show, I was like, I'm going to bring my voice recorder. I have a little... we had it here on one of the shows. I showed it to everybody.
Yeah.
It's a Zoom H6. They're really awesome. And it stays in my backpack. It doubles as an audio interface. You could just do tons of stuff with it. So I like having it around. and it has a really lovely stereo mic built into it. Usually the mics built into things aren't good. This thing is killer. It's like
it sounds great. Yeah.
you could do so much stuff with it. So I was like, well, let's have the crowd go, hey, and I'll just walk out there and stand there and record it. So we told everyone, we did it a few times, and I edited it down, and this is what we got. Which, when you put it in context, you put it even more context. I'll give it a little volume boost so you can really hear it cut through, but it's just a big hit.
God, it sounds so good. I remember, so I was so excited to hear that. So was everyone else. So we get done with the show. We go back to your studio, which is really close to Amos's
Yeah,
South
it's
End.
like 2 minutes.
It's like two corners.
It's like
much.
half a mile or a 15-minute drive, depending on traffic.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you could walk there faster. You'll be like watching people pass you as you're sitting in traffic going to the venue.
I'm walking by with my guitar.
But anyways, so you were so stoked to hear it too. I know that because we get home that night and you went straight back to your
I
studio.
went straight to the studio and
Yeah.
dumped it and put it in, and like I sent you guys not even a mix. I just filmed my computer with my phone, like listen to this, like because we had also done gang vocals ourselves.
Yeah.
Which actually now
Earlier
I think
that
about
day, coincidentally
Yeah.
too.
he must have put those in here. That's where we must be
Yeah.
hearing. Okay, so you're hearing. I don't know exactly how he mixed it, but we also stood around a mic, all of us, and said, hey, a few times. And Jimmy, too.
That's right. That's
So,
right.
That's pretty fun. We haven't talked about bass and
But
drums.
yeah, so to finish off that story, you sent it, and all of us were like, "Holy shit, that's amazing!"
Yeah, it worked
Like,
out, which
yeah.
I had no idea. Even as we were
you
recording,
were like, "I have no idea if this is clipping or not."
yeah, I have no idea. Like I had it set where I thought, and then I had him do it like 4 times, and for the second 2, I turned it down even more. I think
Gotcha.
those are the 2 I used because I was like, I have no idea if this is going to be usable, if it's going to sound good. And I put it back in, put it on my computer, and I was like, oh, it's perfect. It was
Yeah,
just
right.
so perfect. And then you hear the little, clicking, clacking, and everyone finishing at different times. Let's trim all that out. Let's take a listen to the drums here. I'm a firm believer that anytime you can ride the crash cymbal, it just 10x's the energy.
10,
Right.
especially in a chorus, dude. Yeah.
It's just
A
so
rock
so
chorus.
punk and
Yeah.
big and And Rasan has a lot of good sneaky bass fills in this song. Here comes the first of them. There's a lot of cool ones later in the song. I'll give you the drums too, but I'm going to turn the drums down. And if I bring the drums back up, you'll hear how the drum fill kind of... Oh, hold on. Put them together. Just a really nice gel. And the way the riff is written, it kind of turns around on itself, so it comes back into the verse very seamlessly. And now we had talked about the low octave first verse. Now the verse 2 comes in, so he's in the higher octave singing the same kind of melody, but up and up.
Hey, feeling sick in the brain.
And that's me doing the lower octave as well, but now I don't have to sing as low. It's like more in a comfortable range.
let's take it back to that bass fill real quick though.
Yep.
So I got to say this. Rasan, if you know how good of a player he is and what he can do, it's like he holds back so much because the song doesn't want it. But he keeps that like principle that I love in like phenomenal killer session bassists. Some of my favorite bassists where if you had $5 or you had $20, right?
Right.
And I think I've said this on the
Drummers too,
podcast
yeah.
before. If you got $20 and each time you do a fill or something cool, it's going to cost you $5.
Yeah.
So you better do it at the right spot. It better lock in right, and it better be the exact right little flair that the song needs. And it's so cool to hear Rasan like hold back. Obviously live, he's probably definitely doing more than he generally
for sure.
would.
He's got
But
probably $100 per song.
but right. But he still doesn't like just murder the song as far as like
Right,
that's
for sure.
that's
Yeah.
you've gone over the top
Yeah.
live. But especially in the session settings, he really picks his areas to kind of give it a flair on the bass just so phenomenally.
I always love the things he chooses to do too, which is why I love that he's an actual bass player.
Yeah.
He's not, and so many rock bands have a guitar player that's
turned bass player,
masquerading as a bass player.
But merch guy demoted to bass. What was that? Merch guy.
Merch. We're on the Kiss cruise, and it's JD from Black Label Society, Rasan, and Richie Kotzen's bass player, who I actually never got the name of. Did you get his name?
Wilson. I'm brain farting his
Wilson?
first name. That's his
last name. Anyway, super nice guy.
Yeah.
We were and everybody was drinking, have a good time. I see the 3 bass players talking, so of course I walk over and I go, I got some good bass player jokes. And I start hitting them with them, and I hit them with 2, and neither of them they had heard, which was good.
Yeah, right.
And Rasan had, of course. And they laughed really hard. It was super fun. But one of them was, merch guy demoted to bass player. The other one was, I didn't choose bass. Bass chose me. Because my 2 friends chose guitar. And that pause is crucial. That pause is crucial because I said it and I paused and I saw them both go, yeah. And then I hit them with that and they like, ah. They're both amazing guys.
I'm down to fight. Hey.
All right, so we're in verse 2 here. What shall we listen to? Much of the same in the instruments. Let's listen to the vocals.
Hey, feeling sick in the brain. Can't even recognize myself through the haze. Getting strung out, burned out. Think I'm losing count of the days. Yeah, tell me gotta change. I don't wanna.
Back to the same exact thing. Again, the same climbing octaves and guitar parts. We'd already all talked about that.
Spare a little lie and I'm gonna.
And then here's the other harmony. There said there were 2. It's the same thing, just slightly different lyrics.
Tell me that you see that I've already crossed the line. Hey, I'm down to fight.
Back to a
Do you
chorus.
remember how long our text thread was going back and forth about these lyrics? I remember exactly where I was.
Yeah.
Dude.
Where were you? I don't remember.
I was on the couch in my no, we were away from each other.
No, I
we
know
were,
that.
texting each other. I think you were at the gym.
Probably. I do actually a lot of lyric writing for Dirty Damn Tricks on the bike at the gym.
Yeah.
I would just play the demo and just sit there and type shit, sing shit, type shit.
So you sent me a group of texts for something, and you're like, don't have verse 2. Here's the idea for verse 1. And we went back and forth. And by the time you and I had pieced together the verse 1 and 2 to its entirety, dude, the lyrics in this song fucking slay, in my opinion. Yeah.
And I remember we had, hey, I'm down to fight, you will lay me out when I'm trouble tonight. Hey, I'm down to fight. It was like the same kind of thing.
Yeah.
And we had that for a while. And then one day I just heard 1, 2, 3, da 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 down to fight. I was like, that's it. We got to put the 1, 2, 3 in there. And then I remember I was driving here, and then when I got here, I showed you that.
Yeah,
and we did some lyric writing out back. I think we finished Long Road that night. But
yeah, we did. Yeah.
Hey, I'm down to fight you.
There's nothing different in this chorus. It's the same thing, same guitar, same everything. So let's give a full chorus a listen. How about that?
Hey, I'm down to fight you. Won't lay me out with the strong tonight. 1, 2, 3 more rounds. You won't lay me out when I'm down to fight.
I love this. Yeah, he really does sound like Axl Rose right here. And then this one here, we did a few different things here, but we ended up choosing this one. And this one, he just like belts.
Down to fight. Yeah.
That
that's good.
was actually the very first thing he did. And we tried a few others, and I was like, nah, we're definitely keeping that. Just like, what's funny is you isolate it.
Yeah.
You hear there's not a lot of tone in it.
Yeah.
But you hear it in the music, it sounds like going, like a really high. It sounds like it's hitting a really high note. But it's really, no tone there. It's just kind of a scream, which is nice. I wanted to see if Rasan did another cool bass fill out of here. No, just the slides here. So we have the drums, the rhythm guitars. Here, you can see we differentiate a little bit, which is a little odd. Sometimes you could argue maybe one way to do this would be have the big rhythm guitars do the thing together and have the other guitar overdub like we were talking about. We could have done that here. But sometimes it's nice to break that rule because it is kind of an older school way of doing things where you would go in a studio and you just all stand around and play it together. And there was only 2 dudes. So their overdubbing was kind of a pain in the ass. So it was like, all right, well, this is just how this is. The left side will drop out and then the right side will keep going, right? Where now modern recording has made it so much easier to avoid that. But we like bringing that in sometimes. We do it at the beginning of this song. If we go back here, you see same thing. I'm up here on the top. That's me resting and Driz playing through. Same thing happens over here in the bridge where I'm resting. You see the band is resting here. Drums, bass, guitar, all resting. Lead guitar is doing nothing. Vocals, we just went through that. And Driz is playing this cool, like AC/DC-fied version of the chords now, which is the only time this happens right here. So I'll play him isolated. The only B flat.
God, I love that. I love that fucking tone, dude.
The only B
I know it's my tone, but I fucking love it, dude.
You better. It's your tone. The only B flat in the song, right?
Yep. No.
Oh,
No,
yeah, it happens
no.
in the riff.
Yeah,
That's
it
right.
happens
That's
in the
right.
riff after this.
I forgot
yeah.
about that riff. It seems like there's he did the Van Halen trick here. Yeah. The old Van Halen mixing trick was he'd put his guitar in one ear and the wet reverb of that guitar in the other ear. So it kind of added some cool like mixology stuff. You can hear here. I'm clearly not playing. If I turn it up real loud, you hear it. But you hear the reverb of Driz playing, which makes it sounds like we're in the same room with amps.
Yeah.
And I stop and my
fucking
mic's
balls
picking
deep.
up your amp. You know what I mean? But it's not. I love it. All right. So then we're over here in the
solo
solo
section.
section, which has some cool chords. I don't even remember what I played on the solo section. All right, so here we have to listen to Rasan because he's got
Yeah,
some nice,
100% got to listen to him.
he's got some nice walking and stuff he's doing. What's
was
cool
good.
about that, and I do all the bass sessions with him on Zoom and stuff, so we go through all this together. But what's cool about that is he'll have some ideas, and sometimes I'll be like, you're stepping on something I'm trying to do there that I haven't done yet, or that the vocal or whatever. And then sometimes he comes up with something super nice that's busy. There's a lot of bass going on right there, but it's not stepping on the guitar solo at all. But that's just, as a lead guitar player, that's one of my pet peeves. I have 2 pet peeves related to guitar solos. One, when the other instruments start stepping all over the solo. And 2, when you're watching a music video of the solo and they're everywhere but the fucking guy playing.
Oh, yeah.
You're looking at the
100
drummer sitting here you're like, get the fuck off the drummer.
Every time we've had like an edit come back and it's like on drums while you're clearly playing a solo, what the fuck is going on?
It's not even because it's me. It's any band I see.
Yeah.
I'm just like, what are you doing? Like, be where the attention should be, right?
Right.
Like most of the time it's the lead singer, but in this case it's the guitar player or the piano player or whatever it is. Like I want to see that guy. And yeah, you can have some other stuff in there, but don't fully cut away to something else for any length of time. That just drives me nuts. But anyway, I love the way that that bass part really works together. Now the solo, this is a pretty crazy solo, and we've talked about it extensively. We did the playthrough, we did the lesson where I break the whole thing down and the tab and all that stuff. So if you're
Go
interested,
check them out.
somebody just today posted a video of them playing the solo, and I added it to our stories. And what did he say? Something about like, here's my attempt at this face melting solo or something like that. But it was really nice. But anyway, this is the solo. So we'll just listen to it here, isolated, which I have not heard since I recorded it.
It's a really modest way at a small flex.
Yeah, that's what he said. I don't know.
No.
I didn't say it. I would have said it's fucking the greatest thing ever.
But
So,
you had to say something about him saying it.
it just happened today. Yeah.
No, dude, that's awesome.
sounds like guitar screaming there. I love the unison bends, and you don't quite get them in. That's when it's nice, and then you kind of like vibrato around it. And then we kind of went ahead there into the actual breakdown riff. But that's the solo.
I do love, now that you say like hearing it in isolation, I do love the Van Halen-y like style of effect he was going for on the solo guitar. It sounds very Van Halen-y.
Yeah. And I love this little stop we have here. Just a classic. Da 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 da. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, coming in on 2.
Yep. Yeah,
the
yeah.
most famous example of that. It just takes some time. Down a little in the middle, out around. That part of that Jimmy Eat World song. I love it. Coming in 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. That's what we do here. But every other time we've started the chorus, it's been right on 1. So this one's a little bit different.
Yeah, just a little different.
And here's where some vocal melody changes and lyric changes happens. You won't lay me out when I'm trouble tonight, which kind of flips the meaning on its head with that one little subtle change.
Hey, I'm down to find you, won't lay me out when I'm troubled tonight. Cause that's 1, 2, 3 more rounds. You won't lay me out when I'm down to fight.
And then the rest of the band's going out on that. If you don't have a cowbell riff, then you just suck.
100%.
And there's
God, that sounded so fucking good with just the bass and the drums at the end with the cowbell.
There's the 5-string bass too coming in on that last.
6-string.
Yeah, but he's on his
string.
lowest string, which would be the 5th normally.
Yes, true.
And then the lead guitar here at the end. I love this nasty little tritone. Just hammering it.
Gotta have some nastiness in there.
Gotta have some nastiness. So one cool thing, these vocals, sometimes in songs, especially pop songs or something like that, people might copy paste the chorus, right? So you might take a little bit of Goliath here and move him over here just to make it quicker. In this song, we did not do that at all, because if you listen to the actual choruses here, if I can find them, I can, because we have these nice markers. You'll notice that it's kind of funny. His voice gets more like gritty and rock progressively through the choruses. So the first one's like the cleanest, and then the second one's a little more, and the third one's even more.
Down to find you, won't lay me out when there's trouble tonight. Down to find you, won't lay me out when there's trouble tonight. Down to fight you, won't lay me out when there's trouble tonight. Cause that's
He gets like more amped as it goes on, which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
So by the end, he's like super screaming, which is cool.
down to find you, won't lay me out when I'm troubled tonight. Cause that's 1, 2, 3 more rounds. You won't lay me out.
And that was a Goliath change. The 1, 2, 3 more rounds, changing that melody, which was so nice. That was all him when he came in to do the tracking.
So my favorite
just went
vocal
there
melody in the
naturally.
entire song is actually in the pre-chorus.
Mm-hmm.
Mine getting buried alive.
Take a little truth and go. Tell me that you feel my mind getting buried alive.
Yeah. And it's the
Just
harmonies.
fucking slays me.
The
Yeah,
harmonies
dude.
just gloving it there. I'm getting married alive, which I didn't get to sing on the Kiss Cruise because I was sick, but that's all right. Still sick, you can hear it. Today's like the first day I can kind of talk again. So, there you have it. Let's go back over here to get some closing thoughts together here. Boom, there we are. Usually we wouldn't have this up on the TV, but we just had to do that today for the
Here we
next
go.
breakdown.
Here's the studio view. There we go.
Oh, there we are.
Wow.
Well, dude. You know what?
Fucking loop, bro.
And now that we're done here, I can just move this back over,
Right.
which means I can get our lovely logo back up here. There it is. Ho, ho, ho.
Here we go.
All right, that's what you should be
Studio's back.
seeing. Yeah.
And you see my lovely little switcher. This is me just
We're
doing
a couple
the
of
little
pros. Look at
camera
all those
things here.
cables. Let me get rid of this guy. Oh, look at my nice
I like
clean
seeing this.
station.
You get to see how much work I actually do on this podcast. When
You do so much, dude.
Dude, it's insane. Like, I'm just like over here just like,
You have 4 buttons
Fucking-
and you only use 3. You do so much.
no, I use 5, dude. I use the cut and I use the 3 cameras.
Yeah. You have actually gotten rid
And
of the
I
switcher.
also do the fade to back.
fade to black, fade to back at the
Fade
end.
to back.
Fade to Bach. Sebastian Bach's last album, Fade to Bach. Anyway,
So
yeah.
that would be a good name for that, you know?
So the song Down to Fight originated, and we've told this before, but it's originated from a demo we had called Lay in Pipe, where we would say, how did it go?
Yeah, I'm up all night.
Lay in pipe,
Better call the preacher because I'm
lay in pipe,
won't make it into heaven
cause I'm laying pipe.
you got an STD.
While I'm laying pipe.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely don't tell my mom that I'm laying. And we would just go back and forth saying different, we come up with different funny things. And
Well, it
while
started
we were
'cause-
building this studio, actually.
Yeah, because it's like how funny. Who was the first person who came up with fucking?
That's what I
Yeah,
was-
dude. This one
yeah.
time I was out just fucking
That's how
laying
dude.
pipe.
That's how it started because we were talking about euphemisms.
Yeah.
And I told you that the funniest one of all time is laying pipe. And then somehow or another, we just started coming up with this song. And then you went inside and demoed it and sent it to me and we're laughing. And then we're like, you know what? That riff's pretty good though. And that riff was literally this riff right here. Yeah, that was the riff. So I was like, we should make that a song. So we turned it into a song and it was an instrumental for a bit. And then I was like, well, it definitely can't just be laying pipe. Like we gotta come up with that. So you were like, I want to have a song called DTF. And then did you already have Down to Fight? or
Yeah, it was for Down to Fight because I was like, because it's like people see DTF and they think down to fuck, but it's
Right.
actually down to fight.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And I thought that was so hilarious because laying pipe down to fuck,
Yeah.
DTF
Yeah.
down to fight. You know?
So it was born, and we polished her off and got her released.
It's a fun one. It's a really fun.
First
one.
new
So fun to
song-
play live.
New song with Goliath on it.
Yeah, yeah, and it fucking, in my opinion, absolutely slays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Any closing thoughts as we round up our? That's not the words. Round out and wrap up. One of those.
Definitely want to wrap up if you're laying pipe.
True.
Just,
Our mixed breakdown of laying pipe / down to fight.
Yeah. Any last thoughts? Rasan would want all the bassists out there to know that he does not use picks, nor does he endorse them. It was all
He's
fingers.
actually actively, plotted against us using picks.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah.
It's like no.
I like my picks, man.
You should use a pick. That's what we say.
Don't mess with my Tortex.
Yeah, you're not taking my Tortex.
But yeah, he's phenomenal bassist.
Yeah. I think it was a good song. I think we did good.
I think we did good
We
too.
did good. We got more
think,
good stuff coming your way too.
I think our mixing and mastering engineer really
Yes.
slayed it. Sounded really awesome.
Yeah, man.
We did a killer job recording it, as always.
Yep. We just slay.
I mean, that's the long and the short of it.
We're down to fight. No, but and the music video was super fun to make.
yeah.
We had
Except
a
for
lot
I
of
was
fun.
like dying while shooting it.
Yeah, you were dying. I died shortly thereafter. Yep. I've learned now whatever you get, I get 5 days later. So it's just how it happens.
Yeah. Except for that flu. You got the flu from
Still,
someone
you
else,
had the
dude.
flu and I had it 5 days later. So whatever, like whether I get it from you or not, whatever you get, I'm getting 5 days later.
That's what happens when you're in a band, I guess. you know?
Yeah, I guess you're in this little podcast studio every day of the week.
Yeah, we sit in this podcast studio just spitting saliva,
Yeah.
aerosolizing saliva across at each other.
Yeah, it's like a Lysol can of saliva.
Yeah. Every time you say S, there's just like fucking germs just going towards you.
Yep. Cool. Well, that'll do it for us today. We'll be back at you guys with a normal episode next week. I am Dallas Dwight.
And I'm Driz, yours truly.
And we will see you guys later.